This is episode 82 of I Know What You Watched Last Week. And if you've been here before, you know the score. If you're new, just know that Heathen is not your safe space. This is where we discuss horror films, the greatest genre of all time. And much like most weeks, there will be some offensive language in this review, so if you're of a nervous disposition, maybe tune out. Now, before I hand over to my lovely wife here, last week we had Nazis, pesky Nazis, and oversexed Italians. Unfortunately, there are no Nazis or Italians this week, both of which I love to review, but stick around because this week we do have a movie featuring a former Penthouse Pet of the Month and Year. That's right, Dose. We also have a movie starring a six-breasted witch and a film that quite irked the Church of Scientology.
Really?
Yeah. So, and also I'm a little bit under the weather, so if, I can't talk properly, just ignore it. I'll get through it as best as I can. So, I've got to say 3 great films this week because they're all from the 80s, the greatest decade of all time. What did we watch?
Okay, we started the week with Necropolis.
Necropolis from 86.
Okay, then we saw Spellbinder.
From 88.
And finally we saw Doom Asylum.
Also from 1988. Now, I just mentioned I really enjoyed all of these movies for different reasons. I do have a clear number one. Because there was one just particular favourite. The other two, they both could have come second, so it's just going to be on, I guess, what I feel today mostly. It could flip-flop any other day. So what order
That's weird because I did not have any clear things, and as you said, I also enjoyed all 3 of them. So giving something third place
even without
doesn't
Nazis.
detract. Yes, even without. So I think I decided that my third place is going to go to Doom Asylum. Even though there was a lot of bikini-clad ladies, so I can see people putting that higher up. Then second place, mostly because of 1 or 2 shocking performances, is Necropolis. And that puts Spellbinder in first place for me.
Yeah, I think I'll just go the same order because I really don't know between Necropolis and Doom Asylum. They're both quite different movies, but also both quite silly.
Yeah.
So it has the same thing. Spellbinder's not really a silly movie. It's more serious in tone. So yeah, let's get on with the number 3 pick of the week then. Doom Asylum.
Gotta love that title at least.
This is, so Doom Asylum 1988, starring Patty Mullen, Frankenhooker herself. And she was the one that played Kiki. In this, she played Kiki and her own mother, Judy. She was Judy and Kiki. And she's also the lady who was Penthouse Pet of the Month and of the Year. So not only was she in Doom Asylum in 1988, she was also Penthouse Pet of the Year. So kudos to her. And it just seems that her career was, Frankenhooker, Doom Asylum, Penthouse Pet of the Year. See you later.
Or she probably found a rich man and then,
she's conquered it all, hasn't she? She's absolutely conquered everything, yeah. Everything that woman needs to do, she has done it. And by the way, if talking about Frankenhooker, Patty Mullen is Frankenhooker. Just wanted to mention, in Spanish, it's called Frankenputa. I like that.
Doesn't that mean like bitch or
Bitch,
something?
yeah,
Frankenbitch.
Yeah.
That's quite a good name.
Right, so we open up Doom Asylum. There's a dude, Mitch, and a girl, Judy, and they're driving along in a convertible celebrating because they just won $5 million in some payout or something like that.
Yeah, I think he's a lawyer and she won.
He is a
claim.
lawyer, yeah. So she's won a $5 million claim and they're both driving in the convertible, drinking champagne. You shouldn't be drinking and driving because what's going to happen? You're going to crash.
Well, what's even worse is that he starts nuzzling her neck and he's driving and he's literally just like...
It is...
come on.
It is
That's a recipe for disaster.
An empty country road.
Still.
But still, you've got to keep your eyes on the road.
Is
and
it empty?
So, of course, they crash. They crash into a tree, and wouldn't you know it, Judy's hand has come off.
Yeah.
So that implies that she's dead.
Yeah.
That's the opening. That's the opening we get, and we got Mitch, the lawyer, is like, ah, Judy!
Yeah, he looked fine though, really, after the crash, didn't he?
He got away with it.
He kind of crawled over to her, held her severed hand, but
Yeah.
he looked all right.
Because now you say he looks all right, but now we're in an now we're in
exactly.
an autopsy room.
Yeah.
2 docs, one's quite squeamish, and the reason he's squeamish because Mitch is now on like the operating table, whatever you want to call it, a metal gurney, and his face has seen better days because the competent doctor, the experienced doctor, the intern is the one that's squeamish, but the competent doctor is saying that no, this man is dead. And look what I've already done to him. He's like cut his face open and stuff like this. And you can see his nice special effects. You can see his brain kind of like pulsing through his flesh and stuff like that. And his eyes like bleeding. And
Is that why he looked the way he did? Because I was really confused as to how we'd just seen him looking completely fine. And now he had like half his face gone.
That's what I have to, that's what I draw a conclusion from. Because like you say, his face was fine after the crash. But now the doctor is saying, oh no, this man is dead. And you know, I've just been trying to work on him. And now his face is a right mess. The inexperienced doctor is trying to tell his boss that, hang on and wait, this guy is not dead because he's seen his finger twitching. And turns out, no, he's not dead. So he rises from the gurney and goes a bit mental because his face has been mangled.
Yeah, fair enough.
Really nice practical
Not just
effects.
his face either. His hands are all messed up. Just everything. Like...
Yeah. Like I said, brain beating out of his face, stuff like face falling apart, and he's still crying for Judy. Judy! So, of course, he's got to go and stab both of the doctors. So they're stabbed. Now, 10 years later, we got 5 teens. That's right, 5.
Oh, really? What a
Kiki,
shocker.
Jane, Darnell, Mike, and Dennis are on a drive. And I already mentioned Kiki. Mm-hmm. Jane is played by the one and only Kristin Davis of Sex and the City fame. She's Charlotte York.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the only other thing I've seen her do.
Yeah, me too. I know I've seen her in one other thing, but it wasn't horror related, so it's just not imprinted into my memory. But yeah, the one and only Charlotte York from Sex and the City. Sex and the City, I'm a big fan of, and I actually introduced you to. True story. Because guess what? People will have you believe that, you know, Sex and the City is man-hating trash, but that's for people who haven't watched it. See, I watched it, all of it. And the moral of the story is, without men, bitches be loco.
Another one you introduced me to, which should have been the other way around, Clueless. What a great movie that is.
Superb film. Beautiful ladies in knee-high socks and short skirts.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I mentioned, they're on this drive, and you know they got the top down, and 2 of the guys, Dennis, I think I said his name was, Dennis, who's the nerd guy with the baseball cards, and Darnell, they're telling Charlotte York, aka Jane in this, about the history of the asylum which they're driving to. In the front seat, we have got, like I said, Mike and Kiki, and as they arrive at the site of the asylum, Kiki mentions that her mother died here. So of course we know straight away that Judy must be Kiki's mother.
We also start getting a bit of the brand of humour for this film here, because each of the characters has their own kind of thing.
It's a unique brand of humour, this.
It's a very unique brand of humour.
Oh, I laughed a lot through this film.
Yeah. I didn't hate any of it. Some of it was definitely funnier than other bits.
No, it's all good.
But Kiki, when she's like, you know, my mum died here, and her boyfriend, Mike says, oh, you know I can never replace your mother, but I wish I could. Is there anything I could do for you? And Kiki goes, can I call you Mom? And so from this point on, Kiki is calling her boyfriend Mum.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole film.
Everything he gets him, you know, whatever situation he gets himself in, he's like, look what my mum's doing. Very, very strange. It reminds you of that.
Funny, but weird.
It reminds you of that Bon Jovi song, If I Was Your Mother.
Right. Okay.
If you know, you know. Right. So can I call you Mum? Now, once they get to the asylum, they're all outside, getting outside the car, and there's this right racket coming from inside the asylum because we've got a girl band. I say they're a band, but this is just noise. So we've got one on drums, one on keyboards, one singing, but the music that's playing has no drums, even though the lady's like,
yeah,
there's no drums in this, no drums whatsoever.
And also the singing is more like just kind of making some noises and have the synthy effects. Yeah. Kind of, I don't know.
Also what's weird is, on the bass drum, the symbol is of the Soviet Union, like anchor thing with the star, whatever it was, you know, Soviet Union sign, like the USSR sign. So why the hell is that there? Yeah, so obviously I said that they're making a racket, this girl band. They're like a punk girl band. They're in leather, short skirts. This is the 80s. The lead singer girl, I'll get her name later, also incredibly hot, although her character is very grating. She was like,
That's her thing, isn't
yeah.
it? Just this weird laughter at everything.
Darnell walks into the asylum. He hears all this crap music and he decides, finally, for everyone's sake, I'm going to cut the power.
I'm so confused. I'm like, why has this group of kids gone to Doom Asylum to just sit outside of it on a blanket and suntan? Like, surely you could do that anywhere else.
Well, this is Doom Asylum.
And second of all,
you've
Darnell...
got to go to the asylum of Doom.
Darnell seems to be, aware of this girl band and aware of how to unplug all their equipment and stuff.
I'm
He's done it
big
a lot.
fan of Darnell. So Darnell, as I say, I'm a fan of Darnell. Also, the drummer girl takes a liking to Darnell too. And the next thing you know, after he's cut their power, he goes back outside to his gang. The girl band come out onto the balcony or whatever it is, and they're looking over like, moaning. But the drummer catches the eyes of Darnell, and Darnell starts looking up to her, and he's like pulling his face, he's like, and she likes it. So she starts then having visions of them two running in a field in slow motion towards each other.
For a really long time.
And not just one time either.
No.
Not just one time.
Yeah. Quite amusing.
As you said, the gang outside, they settle on a blanket. And
Girls getting their bikinis.
As revenge, yeah, I'll mention the attire in a bit.
Oh, will you?
Yeah. So yeah, the girls, Kristin Davis and our Penthouse Pet of the Year, they're on the blanket with Dennis. Dennis has got his baseball cards out. And the girl band decides to get their revenge on this crew by filling up a condom with water and pelting them with water-filled condoms, which was really pretty good. And once they throw it at the gang, Mike picks it up and says to Kiki, his girlfriend, "Hey, how about it?" And she's like, "Mom, that's incest. What is this? This is so wacky." But what's clear is the filmmakers, their tongue is firmly inserted in their cheek. They know what they're doing. This is very tongue in cheek. This film, it's almost a send up of 80s slashers more than a direct entry into a serious slasher film.
Oh God, yeah.
Absolutely, and they're doing it in the right way. See, for me, this is what I enjoy as a horror comedy, not Shaun of the Dead, for all you bourgeois dweebs out there. Now, the lead singer of the band, Tina, her name is, Hot Tina, in this, this victory that the girl band just had by throwing these water condoms down at them, she decides to take off her cone-like Madonna bra, show her breasts, and be like, "How about now?" I was like, that is a great victory salute. Ladies, if you get a win every now and again in life, just get them out. Now I'm going to mention the attire, right? Because I mentioned...
They were great breasts.
And as I say, she was a very annoying character, Tina.
Yeah.
But absolutely beautiful. Talking of beautiful, obviously said we've had like Miss Purnell there. And Kristin Davis. Now, for me, even though you've got a Penthouse Pet of the Year in a bikini for this entire movie, for me, it's Kristin Davis in that barely there... Is it called a one piece? Is that what it is? It's not a bikini. And, I mean, it really is barely there, isn't it?
I'm surprised it wasn't just being sort of sucked in.
And I believe we have a mostly male audience.
I was on edge.
Let's let men be men. This is a great movie for eye candy. But particularly for me, Kristin Davis steals the show. And for me, it's those thick thighs that she's got. I mean, absolutely amazing. She never showed them in Sex and the City because she was a bit of a prude, wasn't she?
Oh, it's lucky for me you like thick thighs.
Wonderful, yeah. I was about to say, it's a bit like that Steel Panther song, "Eating Ain't Cheating." Those thighs are what the line, "If you want to take a seat, a clearer place on my face," are all about. And it's a bit like Lloyd Grossman. You know Lloyd Grossman. He makes sauces, and he also has a TV show. It's like, "Who lives in a house like this?" Sitting on faces. I'd like to see a TV show. Who sits on a face like this? That's all I could think about was face sitting.
Great. I'm glad you were paying attention throughout this.
Yeah,
film.
and just so everyone knows, my face is permanently booked. There are no reservations to take. Take of that what you will. Who sits on a face like this? Take your guesses. So absolutely fantastic, just for the ladies in this. Now, Darnell, he decides that he's going to go out of all the group because Mike gets a bit mad. He's like, to the girls throwing a water condom at him. But Darnell's like, look, what is it? He says something along the lines of, look, I have few hopes, few dreams.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and sort out the girls. And if she's lucky, the drummer girl, I'm going to show her God.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Darnell's a ladies' man.
Yeah, he doesn't really care about the wet down. He just wants to meet her.
Darnell also wears a chain with his name spelt on it.
Yeah,
so
which
that's
you very
cool.
much appreciated.
That is cool.
Do you want me to get you one of those?
Why not?
What would it be? John, Johnny, Jonathan, Johnny?
God. And so he says he'll go. He goes into the asylum, starts looking around for this drummer girl, but out pops dead Mitch from the gurney from the car with his face all busted up. And obviously he offs Darnell. And at first I thought he just like put a stethoscope in Darnell's ears, but it seems to be some kind of medical clamp because Mitch kills people only with medical apparatus.
It makes no sense, but, you know, it's entertaining. I was sad, though, that Darnell was the first to go.
I was sad that Darnell went as well, yeah. This is old school, though. Like I said, 88, so, you know, the black character always dies first. You know, once we get into, like, 96, we start getting, you know, self-aware, and they make reference to that in the movies, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially Scream 3. Remember Dion Richmond in Scream 3? Brothers don't last long in a situation like this. And of course, this proves that point. So now Darnell's gone. Meanwhile, the keyboard player from the group, she's graphing up the men's bathroom. She's a feminist, right?
She's annoying.
She's annoying, but luckily, Mitch puts her face in some acid.
Yes.
So Darnell goes quickly, keyboard girl goes quickly, because the movie just moves a mile a minute. It's just like kill, essentially. Dennis is now chasing... Dennis the nerd. So Dennis has been sitting on the blanket with Jane and Kiki. And all he can talk about is his baseball cards.
They're not all like you, Johnny. Not everyone's a pervert.
Not a pervert.
That's debatable. But yeah.
I just like thick-thighed women to sit on my face.
That's not weird. But anyway, he's been trying to dry out his wetted down baseball cards, and one of them has been blown away.
Yeah, his Wade Boggs card.
Right, that one.
Wade Boggs. Yanks will know Wade Boggs.
I don't.
It's because you're neither a Yank or a baseball fan.
No. And he follows it up into a bit of the building, I suppose.
Yeah, he runs after his card, and out pops Mitch with a drill and...
Well, but not before, he's
forehead.
Offered all the baseball cards. He's like, you can have all the cards you want.
Yeah, and the thing is, before Mitch kills off people, he always does like this super like Freddy one-liner. And when he offers him his baseball cards, he's like, Wade Boggs! I think he says something like, Bzzz, I always wanted Mickey Mantle. So that's the kind of one-liners you're getting here.
Yeah, and it was the same when Darnell went, because Darnell thought it was the girl he was after. And he's like, I just thought we could go on a date or something, baby. And then, of course, Killer goes, don't call me baby.
Yeah, which you said that Darnell says that. The drummer girl also says the same thing when she's dying. She's like, oh, Darnell, I just thought we could go on a date or whatever. So, you know, a lot of thinking's gone into this script. Now we're back onto like the rooftop almost of the asylum. And the drummer girl is sitting there in a chair. Meanwhile, for some reason, it's Tina versus Mike in a fight. And Tina's quite tasty, isn't she? I don't mean looks-wise, I mean fight-wise.
It was basically just her launching herself at him, jumping on him.
Maybe that's why he just wasn't straight knocking her out, because he just likes this hot woman jumping on him.
Yeah, also, maybe he's got something against hitting women.
But while this is going on, I mean, they're really going at it.
Plus, he's with Kiki. What does he need?
They are really going at it. Meanwhile, the drummer girl just sitting there, kind of like philosophizing
thinking about
Darnell.
Right?
She's like, Darnell, I wonder if he practices safe sex. I wonder if he's had sex. Meanwhile, it's just like crazy Mortal Kombat going on behind her. So yeah, I really like that. Tina ends up throwing Mike off a roof, but he manages to hang onto the side. And while he's hanging onto the side, Kiki, Mike's girlfriend, who we've already mentioned, is calling Mike mum now. She looks up and says, is that my mum?
Why is mom hanging off the side of the building?
Is that my mum? So then the drummer, oblivious to this fight, I'm not really sure what happens at the end of the fight. Like, he's hanging off the edge. Does he end up falling off of it? Because he stays alive,
so
obviously.
he's at the end of the edge. He stays there for ages whilst Jane and Kiki are like, oh, let's go inside and help him. And then the drummer girl decides to go and look for Darnell.
Yeah.
And, of course, she meets her fate.
Before she meets her fate, though, when she's wandering the corridors, you know, thinking Darnell's still alive, she says, Darnell, come out. I know you're just a lonely chocolate like me. More superb writing. I like Drummer Girl as well.
Yeah, no, she was good.
Yeah.
Do you want to say how because it's her scream.
She finds a severed head.
That's it.
Yeah.
One of the others. She finds the head dangling from something.
Upside down, and she just gets strangled.
She screams, and that's what makes Mike think, like, Kiki? And he just somehow, like, flies back onto the roof.
Right. Okay.
And goes to try and help her. Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems a bit like the fight got serious. Because 1 minute you're just, like, kind of play fighting, then you're fighting, then you're almost thrown off a roof.
Yes, but then the fact that he just, like, flies up when he thinks Kiki's in danger kind of takes away any of the fear for his life before that.
Because he is just hanging from the side of the building, Tina hasn't quite won, so it's no time to get your boobs out in victory just yet, is it?
Whee!
Yeah. So now...
What's the male equivalent?
Tina... flinging your cock around.
Windmill.
Yeah, windmill. Tina, I told you this is not a safe space, all right? Windmill cock. So now Tina, she goes looking for her bandmates, right? And Jane...
Oh, God.
Jane...
Yeah.
Kristin Davis.
Yeah,
she wanders off from Mike and Kiki, as you do. Just wanders off from them while Tina goes looking. Now, Tina then bumps into Tina. Sorry, no. Jane bumps into Tina.
Right.
And they kind of like having a little argument. And Tina's like, we were rehearsing here. And Jane fires back with the old, we have as much right to trespass here as you do.
Yeah.
Good line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jane's also a bit of a nerd. I think that's why she went off on her own. She was some sort of like, fascinating. It's like some kind of maze.
She's wearing the
thing,
big nerd glasses, isn't she?
which I think a lot of fans also enjoyed, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there was one review which just said, like, Kristin Davis, damn. That's what needed to be said, really. So, yeah, more wacky dialogue. Now, Mitch, as you said, Jane's walked off by herself. All of a sudden, Mitch, he comes across her. He starts walking towards her with what I believe is a bone saw. A bone saw, and just mangles her face. So Charlotte from Sex and the City gets her face mangled. And this has already happened a few times. When our teens are about to meet their fate, it's a bit like Austin Powers when... Austin Powers is in like that roller thing, and the guy's like, no! So it's like, move out the way. The victim is just stand there waiting to be killed. They just let Mitch walk towards them when they could easily just run away left, right, and centre, which again I think is purposeful. Obviously.
In the case of Jane, Kristin Davis specifically, though, we found out that both her parents are psychologists, and she thinks that it's a mass delusion. And so she's like, what would my parents do? And she's like, you're not real. But of course, by the time her face gets sliced up, she realises that it's pretty real.
Oh, shit got real.
Yeah.
When you get a bone saw in your face. When she gets bone saw into the face, all of a sudden Tina shows up just behind her and Mike walks in. So then Mike thinks that it's Tina that has mangled Jane's face. She's like, no, it was some other guy. And as she runs away, Mike's like, you're in a lot of trouble, Torpedo Tits. Good nickname, Torpedo Tits. Yeah, so now Mike and Kiki are saying a prayer, to get through this.
Right.
And Kiki says out loud, God, I will give you anything you want. Money, sex, even a charge card at Bloomies. Yeah. Bloomies. Yeah, so, God's got his pick there.
I mean, she did a really good job. I love the deadpan way she delivers these lines.
I pretty much like everyone's performance in this. Mm-hmm. Even though Tina was annoying, it suits the film. Absolutely suits the film.
And because of her tits, you'll forgive her.
Of course. Mitch now has a syringe, and out of nowhere, he just jumps out at Mike, syringes him, ties up Kiki, and puts a sedated Mike onto a table.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Tina... But when he's on the table, I've noticed in the background, Tina's graphed her own name with a giant pair of boobies. That's her tag. Tina was here. Massive honkers. That's a good tag.
Well, she's clearly proud of them.
Yeah, as well she should be. So she's graphed her own name with some cartoon boobs. Should have written torpedo tits. So back to Mike on the gurney, strapped down. Mitch turns up, mangled face Mitch, and he starts doing the nursery rhyme. This little piggy
went to market.
Yeah, and he starts one by one chopping off Mike's toes in a pretty gruesome scene.
Yeah, we see the first big toe being like cleaved off.
Good stuff.
It's pretty toe curling. Yeah, pretty grim.
Actually, I like that. Good one. Yeah, I thought that was really good. But luckily, though, or kind of unluckily, just not quite in time because all his toes are gone now. Yeah. Tina shows up with a giant pole, and we know she can fight.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, she's a bit tasty. So she turns up, and Mitch grabs an axe. Now they're going at it. Tina manages to batter him and releases Kiki. And as they're about to run away, though, Kiki runs past some kind of medical machine, turns it on, and gets sucked into it. And she's taken through a conveyor belt.
Tina, you mean, not Kiki. Tina gets...
Sorry, yeah. Tina, the singer, after saving the day, saving Kiki, she runs past some kind of medical machine, accidentally turns on the switch, and gets sucked into the conveyor belt. And
I mean, you say she gets sucked in, but this was again like one of those.
Okay, she puts herself on it.
She kind of like flops onto it, and then she's like, "Kiki, stop the machine!" But she's still there, just like.
As Tina's going through the conveyor belt, as she comes out the other side, she's turned into what I would call a giant sponge with a spring protruding from the top.
Yeah,
it's so she's a sponge now.
Pulped and compacted her.
I thought it was a pink sponge. She's a sponge. Yeah, so there's that. Now we're outside. It's pretty much the end of the film, and Mitch is chasing Kiki around, calling for Judy. Judy. And as we know, Kiki is Judy's daughter, so of course he thinks that is Judy. As he gets close to her, he's like, but she ends up kneeling him in the ghoulies, and while he's on his knees professing his love, she gets him with the end of like a mirror.
Her mum's mirror, yeah.
Is that what? Oh yeah, because she finds mum's mirror at the beginning, doesn't she? Oh, this is my mum's, just randomly, just laying in the grass, and then walks off, and that's pretty much.
And weirdly, he was
like, end of the film.
"Oh, I did this all for you." I was like, "Why would Judy want you to kill everyone?"
Yeah, so that's how it is. So once they get to the Doom Asylum, it's all just doom and gloom for them, innit? With some great stuff in between. Also happened to there was also just random bit. I guess it wasn't random, but Mitch. Where he dwells in this asylum, I guess it's in the basement, as you would. He just constantly watching this black and white movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that because it was so random.
Mm-hmm. And he's always watching it like, ah.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the scenes kind of have a correlation with what's going on in our movie, but I really thought that was just completely unnecessary. It didn't make any sense to me. Do you know whether that was a real film or whether they shot that for this?
I think it was a real film. Yeah, I did briefly go over it. I didn't go into it in detail, but yeah, if I did skimp over it, I'm pretty sure it was shot for, a real film. But anyway, yeah. Without that, though, it didn't need that.
No.
It doesn't need it, and whatever. I think it just kind of shows him as more like a Phantom of the Opera type, doesn't it? That's what it's trying to get to. But yeah, I can't believe this is bottom. A lot of other weeks, this would have been top.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
And there's lots we haven't even mentioned, little character things. I think if you enjoy a bit of a horror comedy, something easy, this is definitely a good watch.
If you want to mention something like the characters, mention it now before we move on.
No, I mean, it doesn't need to be mentioned. Mm-hmm. It's just, we've mentioned the laugh.
We've mentioned the breasts. We've mentioned the thighs, the bum. Penthouse Pet of the Year.
Matters, right?
Everything that matters, guys. Yeah, like men be men. Okay. Right?
And lesbians be lesbians.
Absolutely. Let's just, live and let live. I'm a true liberal, not like these fake liberals who try to shut everyone down. You know what I mean? So let's get on to our number 2 pick of the week. The oldest movie out of 3, Necropolis from 1986. Now, I'm just going to run through what this movie is about. A 6-breasted witch from 1600s New Amsterdam is reincarnated in 1980s New York to avenge the mob who banished her to hell, and also she's got to find a virgin to sacrifice so she may have eternal youth, obviously.
Dear Lord.
You know,
Yeah.
this is the horror genre. This is the 80s. Where else are you going to get a movie about, you know, a witch with 3 sets of breasts?
This film, when I think of like 80s, this was just the complete epitome of 80s. And even, I couldn't believe it, because this film, as you said, she's, you know, been reincarnated, but we actually see her.
Yeah. Lau, I'm just going to mention these words and you can say the opening, right? Satanic ritual, witch dance, voodoo, wedding, angry mob.
So we're back in the 1600s, I think it was.
New Amsterdam, like Counting Crows.
And there's a couple getting married.
Billy and Dawn.
At the same time, there's a witch
Eva.
who is trying to conduct some kind of ceremony. And the costumes and the styling, and then you mentioned a dance. I didn't know if I loved it or I wanted to vomit, because
Loved.
it was couldn't be more 80s, 1980s, and they're like, oh yeah, this is 1600s.
Yeah, it was great stuff, and luckily it's not the only dance scene
No,
in
it's
the
not.
in the film. I say this is uber 80s on steroids, gone, you know, an 80s soundtrack on steroids. It's like a fake Madonna is singing all throughout this movie circa 1986. So I loved it. So yeah, so there's, like I said, Billy and Dawn are about to get married, but their Dawn is captured and tied up. So the Reverend Henry and Billy and his mob, they track down Eva and they banish her to hell. Now we are in New York City, 1986, so modern day New York, and Eva is now a motorcycle riding punk rocker, and luckily she's brought her makeup with her from the 1600s.
Exactly, she's got the exact same makeup.
Got the same makeup
so
from the
you can recognise
1600s.
her. And also, all the women who are back, they've just got short hair now. So all the hair's been chopped off. That'll clarify if it's 1600s or 1900s.
That's how you know they've been reincarnated.
Yeah.
1600s long, 1980s short. What is also, I found it quite thrilling actually, is when she's on her motorcycle at the beginning, riding down New York City, she stops, and in the skyline we have the iconic Twin Towers, which obviously aren't around anymore. And in particular, this film, Necropolis, and the one which is number 1 for us this week, Spellbinder, which was shot in LA, as in like proper Los Angeles, like Sunset Strip and all that. They also have shots of the skyline and stuff. And with the older technology, the skyline kind of, it looks murkier, it looks darker, and it suits the tone of the film so much better. Now, everything now is like, oh, it's crystal clear, but not everything has to be crystal clear. The shots of the city in these 2 films was so much more what a horror movie should be than what we get now. You know, Netflix just wants everything to look the same because they don't have an artistic bone in their digital body.
Well, Netflix just wants everything to look like a comic book come to life, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I want,
no matter what the actual context of the movie.
Well, nothing to do with Netflix, Amazon, the British Film Institute, Hollywood, any of that.
Kiss my taint.
Complete kissmytaint.com. That's one of my emails. Yeah, got a bad attitude. So it was nice to see the Twin Towers, and I mean that sincerely. Anyway, Eva, she's on the lookout for this satanic ring, which apparently she has found advertised in a guy called Rudy's pawn shop. So she goes to said pawn shop, and for some reason Rudy's talking to her in like the third person. Like every time Rudy speaks, Rudy's got to say his name, because that's the kind of thing Rudy does.
Rudy likes.
Yeah, so she's like getting really mad. She's like, I know that you've got this magic ring, and because he keeps playing her, oh wait, Rudy's got a magic ring? What are you talking about? She like loses her patience and says like, Rudy, I will hang Rudy by his balls. And he's like, balls? Tell me more. She's had enough now.
Yeah.
So she starts doing her powers, and her power is that she can telepathically start talking to her victim in their mind and let them know that she knows all about their life story. Somewhat then confusing them. So while she's telepathically communicating to Rudy, telling him all of his life secrets, he's like, ah! And then blood just starts to come out of his ears and Rudy's dead.
This was the first instance though I was like, this just makes no sense, because she seems to have quite a strong power. Like, she uses her telekinesis thing a lot throughout the film. But then there are other times throughout the film where she should be using it and she just doesn't. Like, she spends ages with Rudy just being like, show me the ring. And I was like, why didn't she just straight away be like, you want to give me the ring?
I guess maybe she doesn't want to go for the trouble at first. It's got to expend some kind of energy, I'd imagine.
And then the other thing, as I mentioned when we were ranking all these movies, I said I put this one second because some questionable performances.
Mm.
She cannot act for shit. What the hell happened? How did she get this role? Like, genuinely, what do you think caused her? Because everyone else I thought was fine, but she was terrible.
Well, this film is called Necropolis, for one thing. So I don't know. I thought it just suited the film. Like, you had to have a bad performance is what makes a lot of direct to video 80s films, because this is at a time when not enough horror movies are being released, so a lot of small independent studios will come about and just make a movie on the cheap, like Necropolis, like Doom Asylum, and video stores would buy them in, so people could be like, yes, Doom Asylum, yes, Necropolis, what the hell is this? That's why you had all those awesome front covers. You know, because Necropolis has a great front cover.
Well, do you think she was hired because, you know, she's a sick dancer?
That would be one of the reasons, yes, but her chops also absolutely fantastic. So after she gets Rudy, she's now in what I can tell is a public bathroom, and in the public bathroom is the Reverend Henry. So he's the guy from the beginning 1600s who was trailing her. Right, now he's a reverend, and he's working with like a youth group, disadvantaged youth. So Eva walks into this public bathroom in downtown New York, downtown Manhattan, where he's like washing his hands at the sink. Yeah. And she walks in and pretty much just says, I'm a disadvantaged youth. I know that you work with disadvantaged youth, and there's a man following me. He's Satan. You need to take me in. Reverend Henry's like, okay, I feel for you, but that's not quite how it works. I can't just take everyone in from the street who comes up to me. So because he doesn't help her, she's like, I'll get you, Henry.
Okay, so she's after Henry because Rudy, when he was being tortured by her, let slip that Henry was the one who'd purchased the ring that she was after.
Yeah.
Right? So she, I assumed, was going there to get the ring off of Henry. But I don't understand what her, like, angle was. Because she's gone to the bathroom. He's been like, oh, let's go to my office. Which is probably where he'd have the ring. And she's like, no, I can't. Because, you know, Satan's out there or whatever. And then he leaves and she's like, I'll get you. It just made no sense.
So you were baffled?
I was completely baffled.
Well, that means her witchcraft is working then, doesn't it? Not just on Henry or on Rudy, but also on you. What do you think about just a casual conversation in a public toilet with a stranger? Something you'd engage in?
Preferably no. But to be fair, he is like straight away, he's like, oh, well, this is the men's room. And then she's like, but I'm, you know, disadvantaged. And he's like, okay, but let's go to my office. So I think he deals with it as well as you could. You know, Henry's a good guy.
Once you're Eva the witch, and you've been rejected by Reverend Henry, how do you get over this? You go back to Rudy's and you dance all over the gaff.
Oh, God. I like the most 80s dance style you could possibly
Great
imagine.
tunes, though. And the dance scene goes on for at least 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes of dancing.
And it's completely pointless.
Is she a better actress or dancer?
Dancer.
So you're saying she's got points as a dancer?
Sure. She hasn't got any as an actor, so she needed something.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely useless to the plot. Why is she back at Rudy's? Why has she just decided to start dancing?
Oh, she's a witch. Witches dance, don't they?
Like that.
Back to Henry now. And Henry, you know, is getting some recognition for his work with the youth. And he's being interviewed by reporter Dawn Dawn was the one that was captured earlier on in 1600s Amsterdam. Yeah, she's supposed to get married to Billy, who we haven't seen yet in modern day New York. So I was saying, yeah, Henry's being interviewed by Dawn about his youth work, particularly his youth work with a guy called Phil. Now, while this interview is going on, for some reason Eva's Eva's in like the sound booth or something like this, just standing there. So we go to Phil and he's asked about his life, like, why are you a disadvantaged youth? And he says, well, you know, it's New York as well, so everybody's like very New York. And he says, I used to turn tricks because I was on dope. And then Dawn says to him, do you mean you were a male prostitute? And he says, yeah, I'm a fag. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there. Once he says that, Eva then starts using her telekinesis, her telepathic talking powers, and she starts going into Phil's head, and then she says, Philly, Henry's just a big fag who wants to fuck you.
Yeah.
Dear Lord. You know.
They went there. There was no, you know, censorship.
If you're gonna use a homophobic slur, use it for a great scene like this, is what I took away from it, I guess. Yeah,
But anyway, this obviously has a huge effect on the interview, because this guy's supposed to be reformed, saved by Henry, but with Eva getting into his brain, he's acting a bit nuts, and it seems like maybe he's using after all, so he gets taken to hospital.
Yeah, well, he's just dead. He's dead now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
after she uses the homophobic slur again in his head, he's like, ah! And he's dead. Trust me, because now
poor Phil.
Eva. So after Eva's done this now, Eva walks back. No, she one second she's like you said to Henry, I can't go to your office.
Yeah.
But now she's just in his office. Right, she's in his office and she's talking to Tony, who works with Henry, and she's like, you're going to open Henry's safe for me and give me the key. It's like, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, what she starts doing? She starts doing the telepathic talking to him again, and she knows all about his life, and apparently he used to consider suicide, so she hands him a knife, he obliges. That's the end of him. She manages to take the key.
I was really, really distracted throughout this scene by his hair.
Or lack thereof, and
Did
the
you
style of
notice
it.
it? It was like one long strip, just like greased over.
Yeah.
And just
He's hanging on. He's hanging on to what he's got.
not a good look.
This is, you know, this
a good
is not the age of hair transplants.
No, but just shave it off.
Turkey hair,
Just get rid of it.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Very distracting.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
I guess he could get a wig, but then he would have to pay.
just get rid of it. But anyway, that's not the point.
You
said, I know I brought it up, but yeah.
No. You just missed it. I said he could get a wig, but then he would have to pay.
Oh, for God's sake.
Excellent. So I've noticed at this point as well that the director of this film, he really likes Eva's legs. Or maybe that's how she got the role, because he's just like, ooh, legs, and her legs are, you know, stocking clad, and she's always like straddling a bike or whatever, and she does have nice long legs.
Yeah, she's got nice legs.
It's the haircut that's ruining it. You know, that horrible short haircut.
Yeah, you're not a fan of short haircuts,
No.
are you?
No. Eva's now, she's in some alleyway and she does some spell, as you do, and she resurrects these dead minions. It's the first time you see these dead minions. They're kind of these things that have like goo coming out their face, have like warts, and they're wearing cloaks.
They looked awesome, I thought.
Yeah, they did look good.
That was done really well. And I suppose they were supposed to be part of like the original coven spell thing that she was doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So from the 1600s, when she was doing the satanic ritual, the little crew she had with her, those were her minions. And now these are the minions in modern day coming back to her because she's done the witchy spell.
Right.
Because she's found the people that she needs to take revenge on.
So their spell that was interrupted when she was offed in the 1600s would, as you mentioned right at the beginning, give them eternal life. Mm-hmm. And so she's got the devil's ring now, and she's like, I'm gonna finish the spell.
Yeah.
Right? But she still needs the original woman as well.
Mm-hmm.
You say she was called Dawn?
Yeah, Dawn the Virgin. Right, so Reverend Henry, after Phil from the interview is dead, Reverend Henry's now with a doctor and Dawn, and we're introduced to the cop, Billy, who's also very New York cop, you know? Mm-hmm. And he's got chest hair, he's got his shirt open, he's got that golden medallion, you know, he's the man. He's the man. And him, Billy the cop, and Dawn the reporter, who's English, by the way. Mm-hmm. In New Amsterdam, they were two getting married, if I haven't made that clear already.
Yeah.
So, after they're all reintroduced, Henry says that Phil could not have killed himself. They're all looking over Phil's dead body.
No, this is why you're wrong. Okay, so Phil, I don't think he did die. Henry took him to hospital. It's the guy who offed himself that they're talking about. He wouldn't have killed himself.
Right. So he wouldn't have killed himself.
Right.
So Henry says strange things must be afoot, because they
Yeah.
said no way would he have offed himself. Meanwhile, Eva is back at Rudy's praying to an alien tongue mask.
It's not very well done either, is it? I mean, yeah, they didn't spend much of the budget on this altar.
She says to this alien tongue mask that my soul and my body is yours. It just looks like it's a mask from like your regular Halloween shop, doesn't it? Kind of thing.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Billy, he starts shining on Dawn. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, why don't we go out afterwards? She goes, no, why don't I take you for a drink? So she takes him back to hers
Yeah.
for said drink.
She's got a cool apartment.
She does have a cool apartment. And she asked Billy, what did you feel when you first saw me? He's like, I can't say. And she's like, just say. He was like, I was turned on. And she says, yeah, I know that. But what else?
Duh.
What else did you feel? And he's like, I don't know. She says, can't you tell? We used to know each other. We've known each other from a past life. And he's not quite convinced yet.
So it seems that I think Dawn says that she and Henry met at one of his like meetings about regressions and past lives and stuff. And it seems clear Dawn obviously believes in all of that, but being a cop, Billy's, you know, he's a New Yorker. He's not sure if he believes in that kind of thing. But she's like, come on, we've definitely had a previous life together.
Yeah. Eva is now telepathically talking on the street to a punk rocker called Snake, who is making out with his girlfriend Cat. Because when you're a punk rocker, you're called like Snake,
and Cat, yeah.
Dog.
Dog.
You know, yeah, stuff like
I thought that was more gangster.
stuff like that. So he's getting off with his girlfriend, but all of a sudden she starts getting in his head, and she's like, "Come to me, baby. You want me, baby? So bad you'll give the devil your soul, baby, 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 baby." He then like leaves Cat. He's like, "See you later, Cat. I've been telepathically seduced." He walks over to her. He quickly dies, and she starts licking goo from his forehead.
Yeah, doesn't she like put her ring against his belly as well or something, and it like sears him? And yeah, she gets, they call it ectoplasm.
They do call it ectoplasm, very Ghostbusters.
She gets ectoplasm from him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the love story between Bill and Dawn is progressing. So it's another night. Bill has decided to pop over to Dawn's with some beer. She's cooking Kung Pao chicken. So they're made for each other because they're a great match, as is Chinese food and beer. Right?
Oh,
Great
I'll go for
combo.
some Kung Pao chicken right now.
We've got a great Chinese restaurant around the corner. Arguably the best ever. That's for my food reviews coming later on the Heathen channel. Edith's now on the street and she's burning Snake's body. Right? The girlfriend Cat finds him. And she's like, "What are you doing?" So then, of course, what does Eva start doing? Telepathically starts talking to her. And she's like, "You used to sleep with girls. Snake didn't even turn you on. But you do want me. Touch me right now, baby." And it works.
And that's the end of her also.
Yeah. I think Eva is possibly a lesbian.
I think Eva just
goes
takes
either
every
way.
soul she can get.
Okay.
I mean, she doesn't actually put out to any of these. She promises them, you know, sexual satisfaction, but then she takes their soul before anything actually happens.
Mention the alleyway scene earlier on.
Yeah.
Right? So phase 1, find an alleyway. Phase 2, resurrect minions. Phase 3, get your tits out. All 6 of them.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But also,
Amazing.
we get the build up to the 6 breasts first.
Yes.
Because she just has her regular human placed breasts, and you see sort of weird like bubbling going on under her torso, and then all of a sudden you go back and there's an extra 2 pairs of tits.
And the minions come towards these breasts and begin to suckle ectoplasm out of the 6 breasts.
And I was thinking, I was like, how how awkward, especially when it's like a lower budget thing, to be standing there, because one of those pairs of breasts is her real
it was amazing
hair.
Yeah.
And then you've just got these like grossed up creatures coming and suckling.
Yeah.
And also they kept giving each other these looks around her breasts like
Oh, I mean, they've been waiting since the 1600s to get back at the teat. Finally, in this New York alleyway, they can all feed on the ectoplasm.
they have 6 breasts to choose from.
The ectoplasm that only comes from Eva's breasts, it seems, or people's foreheads who she kills.
Also, I've just realised that all those breasts were identical, so they must have taken a good close look at her real breasts to create the fake ones.
Oh yeah, they were identical breasts, so absolute kudos to the makeup department there, the special effects crew.
I couldn't tell which was real and which was fake.
No, they all look great. Yeah. And you know,
a few too many of them.
I always say this, I've got a lot of stuff in my movie Heathen that we've never seen before in cinema. I'd never seen a 6-breasted witch. So, yeah, I just got to give massive points to Necropolis for that. Because Heathen is the kind of world where a 6-breasted person could exist. I'll just pop it in there now. I liked it. So Billy and Dawn, they now come across Snake dead in the city, right? Meanwhile, there's a pimp, Steady Eddie. And what's he doing? Pimping, of course, because he's a pimp. And his main hoe, Candy, she's the main one. She's got 2 mates, and she lets it known, hey, Steady Eddie, I know what I'm doing. I've been on the game since I was 12. 12? That's not cool. You know, we've already had the homophobic slurs. Now we've got streetwalkers at 12 years old. And Candy's used to it. She must be good at it now, I guess. Because she's at least like 26 now. So she's been there.
Only like 19, but you know, that lifestyle ages you.
Eva, yeah, that's a good point. Eva walks over to this threesome of prostitutes. And they don't take too kindly to Eva walking over there.
Our turf.
Yeah, Candy and the other 2 hoes, they're offended. They're like, this is Eddie's patch. Only Steady Eddie's girls get to work here. But all of a sudden, a John turns up, you know, a paying customer. Eva just goes and takes him from Candy, rides off into the sunset with him.
Well, not really for his sake. Doesn't end very well for him, does it?
Meanwhile, let's carry on the love story which is building between Dawn and Billy. Right, so as I said, Billy is a cop, right? And now because he's seen Dawn a few times, the shirt's open even more, the medallion's hanging even more. He's got the leather jacket on now. It looks like a right greaser. I think it's pretty cool. So Dawn is like, Billy, you're a cop. I insist, because I'm a reporter, that I come on a ride along with you. He's like, no way, it's too dangerous. You can't come on a ride along with me. But then she pulls rank on him. Yeah. Turns out that she like knows the mayor or something like this. And when she tells that, it's just a great cut scene where he's in the car like, and she's like, because you know she's pulled rank.
Yeah, it's like they're already a married couple.
Absolutely, yeah. Like he's been through this before, and is he sure that he wants to go through it all again? I'm not sure. So now Dr. Parker, so the doctor that's with the crew, his name's Dr. Parker, Billy the cop, Rev Henry and Dawn, they now come across the John, right? The customer for the prostitutes who Eva took away, and there's a bit of ectoplasm talk. Bill's like, ecto what? Well, he's living in New York, the home of Ghostbusters. He knows all about ectoplasm.
Well, also because clearly the coroner, is it the coroner who does the autopsies and stuff?
Yeah.
He's just not really doing his job, is he? Because he's like, no, I didn't bother testing it, and it's someone else is like, it's ectoplasm.
As we mentioned, like Billy's like, ecto what? So they explain to Billy what ectoplasm is, and he says, okay, well, where is all this ectoplasm going? Cut to 6 breasts and more suckling.
With oozing.
Yeah.
Oozing.
Yes, oozing breasts.
Disgusting.
Now. A lot of ectoplasm coming out of these 6 breasts. Now there's some witch talk by Billy and the gang, and they're all now talking about their past lives. So they're all kind of like, it's all coming back to them that they all knew each other in a past life. Stuff like that. Eva, meanwhile, she's back on Candy and the other hooker's turf, right? Candy's not happy about this, so she decides to stab Eva, but it has absolutely no effect whatsoever. So Eva, you know, she decides to get into a car with Steady Eddie the pimp. Yeah. Because he turns up, he's like, what's going on here, kind of thing.
I like
he takes a liking to Eva big. time.
He
He
wants
says,
to sample his new goods.
yeah, he's like, I like him kinky. I'm gonna fuck you to death. Uh-oh, next thing, he's dead, and she's licking ectoplasm off of Eddie. It's because she needs to feed herself with ectoplasm so it can ooze out of her breasts.
Absolutely, that's how it works.
Billy's now at Rudy's, where Eva's been dancing around.
Okay,
all that stuff. And Billy finds Rudy in a fridge. He's in a fridge, but he's frozen.
But he fancies beer, so, he grabs the last beer out there and he's like, well, you won't be needing this.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm sure you did.
I like that a lot. I would have done the same thing, probably. I'll probably need a beer if I just come across a dead body in a fridge.
I don't know. That kind of grosses me out. It's been way too close to that body.
It's the kind of thing, this is 1986. It's before, eco-friendly energy, so that the fridge is completely frosted over. It's more like a freezer, so that's why Rudy is, like, stiff. And that beer must be nice and chilled, though.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's probably a bit stinky, though. But I was thinking as well, the guy who plays Rudy, because that was a really small space, and you could see, like, his toes all squished up to get in there. I was like, that poor guy, that must have been so uncomfortable.
Well, he's already dead before he got stuffed into the fridge.
Yeah, the actor's dead, isn't he?
Well, he looked dead to me.
He did a great job.
Yeah. After this, Dawn is somewhat attacked by Eva the Witch, but the Reverend is on it, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, Eva is now working her magic on a former hooker called Rose, who's now one of Reverend Henry's,
saved souls.
Yeah, he's taken her in. But because even though she used to be a hooker, she's trying to get her back to her old ways telepathically, and she tells her to go and kill the Reverend. So she sends this former hooker Rose to the office. Lovely Reverend Henry just sitting there. She pulls a gun, but she can't quite do it. So instead, she shoots herself in the head. Eva's powers aren't strong enough
This
to...
was quite touching. She's like, I love you, Henry. And then, rather than kill him, she's like, I better just end myself. And oh, sad. And Henry's at that time making a bunch of stick crosses.
Yes, which will come in handy later. Reporter, Dawn, is now at home. She's already been attacked somewhat on the street a little bit. Now Eva breaks in, or actually one of the minions breaks in, tries to attack her. So Dawn pulls a gun, tries to shoot the minion, doesn't do anything. We've got to assume that the minion has now taken Dawn to Eva in this like magical alleyway or whatever. So, but don't worry, the Rev and Billy, they're on the hunt. And, why did they want Dawn? Turns out that she's the virgin. But as the Rev and Billy are driving, they were like, she ain't no virgin, pretty much.
Well, no, I think it's because obviously we know that...
She's a virgin?
Yeah, exactly, because they haven't gotten that far in their budding love.
Well, it's only been like 2 nights.
But how does Henry know? That's what I find a bit weird, because he's like explaining to Billy, they need a virgin for their sacrifice or something. And Billy's like, but Dawn ain't no virgin. Is she? And Henry's just like, oh, you dirty bastard, how do you know that?
I would have assumed that after Kung Pao Chicken and Beer, sex would have come after that.
That's how you go, isn't
That's
it? You're
romance.
Like, Kung Pao Chicken, beer, equals sex.
Please. Yeah. So now it's time for the showdown between our, Reverend, our cop, who have gone to save Dawn from Eva. And luckily, the Rev's bought his 2 homemade crosses because as they're on their way, they get attacked by the minions.
Yeah.
But the crosses work on them.
Well, also, he spent ages making... You say 2, but he had like a sack full of crosses.
He did have a sack full, but I only seen him use 2.
Only needed 2.
Only needed 2, so it's a waste of time.
It quickly shows to Billy that, the guns won't work, but the sticks will.
Yeah, you should have spent less time on making crosses if you only needed 2, and more time on a disadvantaged youth. Right? Meanwhile, Eva is starting to summon the devil with Dawn, the virgin, there as her sacrifice. As this is going on, our 2 heroes, Billy and the Rev, they're walking through all the minions. And there's a nice bit where the Rev decapitates one of the minions, I believe, with his cross. Like, head starts spinning around. Really cool. They get into the room where Eva is. Eva's got like a knife in her hand. Billy, being the hotshot cop, shoots the knife out of Eva's hand, but then she starts mind controlling Billy with the gun to tell him to shoot himself. Luckily for him, though, Rev, with his sack of crucifixes, grabs ones and he throws it into Eva's stomach, stopping her. Billy takes Dawn out, takes to the alleyway. Has to go up for Henry, though.
Right.
Has to go up for Henry, because Eve's attacking him. Billy manages to chop her hand off. Pretty cool. Then sets her alight and blows up the building, because this is the 1980s. You need to explode stuff.
But Henry is a bit like, oh shoot, we need to go back in there and get the ring. But obviously Billy's like, well, it's a burning building.
It's like, I've already been back once.
Yeah.
For you, mate. I'm not going back again for the ring.
To be fair, Henry doesn't seem to be trying that hard either. He's like,
no.
alright, fair.
Well, he's got a lot on his plate. So they haven't got the ring, but we then see Eva's hand with the ring is still alive. Her chopped off hand is still going. And Billy and Dawn, they're together again now. You know, Kung Pao Chicken and Beer's worked its magic.
Maybe she's not a virgin anymore.
They're in bed. Billy kind of like gets up to go to the bathroom, but all of a sudden Eva's hand is on the bed, crawls up, starts touching her. She thinks that it's Billy, but no, it starts to strangle Dawn.
She screams,
bites Billy.
Billy comes out of the shower to see what the scream was about. And then, I don't know about you, but I got the thing that then Eva's spirit has kind of
well, that's obvious.
Taken.
Yeah, once Eva's hand attacks Dawn, and Billy then comes out the bathroom. She's definitely not a virgin now, because she's being really hypersexual. And he's like kind of a little bit scared / confused by this, but she pulls him towards him and starts biting him. She's like, what? I thought you wanted it rough, kind of thing. And yeah, Dawn is now possessed by Eva. She leaves and starts walking the streets, probably going to find Steady Eddie's crew to take the prostitutes under a ring or something like that. She's not a virgin anymore. Great stuff, this.
This is the second film we've watched and reviewed where, because obviously normally in a horror film being a virgin is what's going to save you, but this is the second film where actually being a virgin is what put them in danger. Satanic ritual stuff, just, being a virgin is dangerous.
It's dangerous for incels then, isn't it? they can't get any.
Do you think this is what guys are going to use as a chat up line? Be like, look, it's dangerous to be a virgin. You never know what kind of spells people will use you for.
When you're a virgin, you've got to try anything you can. So, all's fair, as they say. Another good film, Necropolis. Superb shots of the cité.
So 80s.
Nice cinematography. Yeah, so 80s. So fantastic.
A lot of ectoplasm and nipple.
Yeah. 6 nipples.
Yeah.
6 of them. I'm yet to see that. Apparently there is a sequel to this. Came out in 2019, because this is the Charles Band picture, the guy that does the Full Moon pictures, but this was from his other company which went under. So people have wanted a sequel to this for a long time. They finally got it in 2019. A bit like The Mutilator came out in the 80s, and also only got Mutilator 2 in 2025. I'm sure that Necropolis 2 isn't a patch on original Necropolis.
I can't picture it at all.
I have no interest in seeing it unless I find out there is a 6-breasted witch in it. Or maybe they could up the ante and have a 12-breasted witch.
Where are those breasts all going to fit, Johnny? You have to be realistic here. Unless they're going to start sprouting out of her back or
as
her
Tim
arms.
Gunn would say, make it work. Absolutely. On to number one. Number one, also from 1988, the year of Miss Purnell being Penthouse Pet of the Year, Spellbinder. Spellbinder, this was pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I had a similar thing with this, because it's another witch movie.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing with powers. And I had a similar thing as I did with Necropolis, where I was like, when they choose to use the powers and when not is just a little bit.
Well, you've got to get the story from here to there. Otherwise, if she just used her powers the whole time, it's like if Superman wasn't allergic to kryptonite, it's like, oh well, nothing's gonna happen to him, is it? Boring. So at the beginning of this, we've got some businessmen. They're playing basketball after work. They're high-powered lawyers. They're a fun bunch, the 4 of them. They finish playing ball, so they go to the parking lot. 2 of them walk off, and we're left with our main guy, Jeff, and he's with his mate, Derek. Derek, played by Rick Rosovich of Terminator fame. He's the guy who's he's getting busy with his girlfriend, who is not Sarah Connor, it's Sarah Connor's best friend. And all of a sudden, Arnie breaks in as a Terminator, mid-coitus. And he's like, hey, I'm going to bust you up, man. But of course, you can't bust up the Terminator, can you? So that's what I know Rick Rossovich from. The Man. Yeah, so Rick Rossovich and Jeff, they're together. They're just talking, leaning up against their car. And in the distance, there's a guy who's slapping around a woman.
Yeah.
And they take exception to this and go over to try and save her. But the guy is like warning them against it. He's like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Ooh, what's all this about? They can't really save her because he pulls a knife. The guy's been beating her, pulls a knife.
Yeah.
And as they do save the girl, Miranda, he's like, you'll regret this. And then Jeff manages to get Miranda to go home with him. After they say, and he's like, look, no strings,
she has nowhere
no
to go,
strings attached. You
she
can
was
come and stay
staying
with
with
me.
the abusive guy.
Staying with the abusive guy whose name was Aldis. And it's really wonderful when they're driving home. Once again, the convertible, driving through the Sunset Strip. We see the Roxy, we see the Rainbow Bar and Grill, all that sacred stuff. This is when the Sunset Strip was, in its pomp, at its peak, when all the cock rock, all the hair metal was, abound. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, when you see...
It's the place Johnny wants to be.
Very rarely when you see now the Sunset Strip in movies, it's all very sanitized. And it's like, instead of more places like the Roxy and the Troubadour, you've just got estate agents. There's like two little bald freak midgets. You know what I'm talking about, didn't you?
I know who you're talking about.
Lame. So as they're riding through the Sunset Strip, looks really cool. Once again, technology is something that hasn't necessarily improved the look of films. Mm-hmm. It just hasn't. Much like technology hasn't improved football. Why would you destroy something that was perfect and ruin it with technology? Absolutely stinks. So anyway, they get to his place. Miranda and Jeff get to Jeff's place. And very quickly, she starts reading his palm.
Yeah.
It turns out she has some powers. And while he's been playing basketball, he's been complaining about a pain in his back.
Yeah. So she can read his palm without actually looking at it. She just puts her hand on top of it. And she's spot on. And then she's like, oh, let me sort out your back with a massage. And for some reason, they both need to be, like, basically naked for this.
Well, they're going to the bedroom. It's 1988.
And
get your kit off.
She's, like, doing some kind of incantation spell thing. And then all of a sudden, barely touching him, he's healed.
Yeah, she's just, like...
She's magical.
Hovering her hands over where his back pain is. All of a sudden, he feels the pain. But then she kind of, like... flings it out.
Also,
by magic.
He'd been complaining to his mate, I think, that like he can't find the right woman, and
to Derek,
the person that he was seeing, like she didn't know one artist from another, and all of this stuff.
Doesn't know like Buck from Madonna or whatever.
Yeah. And whereas this chick, Miranda, as soon as she gets to his apartment, she's like, oh, is it that artist? And oh, it's that guy. And so obviously he's like swept off his feet, isn't he?
Also, she's incredibly attractive.
She's beautiful.
This is Kelly Preston. May she rest in peace. And you won't know this, but Kelly Preston was John Travolta's wife.
Oh.
The John Travolta. There's only one, Kelly Preston. They were married. And yeah, so this is the movie that irked the Church of Scientology, because obviously they're Scientologists, John Travolta and Kelly Preston were. And because she gets in the buff in this film, the church wanted to, get rid of this movie completely. It doesn't look good for the Church of Scientology to have a beautiful woman naked, does it? This is once again another example of religion and everything else trying to pull down artistic and sexual freedom.
Yeah, but also from everything I've seen about the Church of Scientology, fucking bonkers. So,
Karen, if you say that, we're gonna have people outside our house filming us 24/7. All right, and there are some Scientologists that I love: John Travolta, Tom Cruise, Beck. I think Beck's former now. Anyway, Spellbinder, this film used to be hard to get a hold of. I feel like it already still is hard to get a hold of. But now, Jeff just put it on streaming, so anyone can see it. It seems like even the church can't fight the devil that is streaming. Can it? So after this healing, we see a scene of Jeff now getting up and he's like going to another room. All of a sudden the guy Aldis, the guy that was beaten around at the beginning, he comes out with a knife and gets him, but it's just a dream.
Right.
It's just a dream. And luckily for Jeff, he's woken up and, Miranda's still there. Everything is wonderful. So it's the next day at work. He just leaves Miranda in bed.
He's very trusting.
Leaves for work. And he's telling his mates, his three mates, about the last night, and they're like ribbing him.
They want all the details.
They're a good bunch. These are a real good bunch. A lot of the time, you get like 4 people together, and it's like these people just clearly don't know each other. There's no chemistry. I feel like there was chemistry between these 4 guys. I felt like they really worked together. So Rick Rossovich, who plays Derek, was really good, and the guy who's the lead, who plays Jeff, a guy called Tim Daly, I feel like he had a real easy charisma about him.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, so
it was good.
Him and Kelly Preston were great together. Rick Rossovich, and the eldest guy played it very well. So you've got a really good cast in this. So they were ribbing him, as I said, like good lads. And after the day of work, he comes home, and she's still there. But all of a sudden, his apartment is nice and clean, cleaner than it was. Anyways, his house is nice and cleaner than it was. She's playing the music that she's been pointing out, and I believe that she's like preparing dinner, and she's only wearing one of his shirts. So of course, when it's Kelly Preston doing all this, you're going to be suitably impressed. And I've worked out, I know what she is. She's a nester.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So she's moved in. She's made herself indispensable.
Nester. Now, where have I come across a nester before?
I have no idea.
Yeah, someone, before we moved in here, came across my apartment and wouldn't leave.
You didn't want me to.
Wouldn't leave, much like what
what
Miranda does to Jeff. She starts cooking
Jeff
him,
loves it too.
Starts cooking him food. You start cooking me food really quickly. Nesting, Charlie Harper, aka Charlie Sheen, he knows about him as well. She's a nester. So she's done all that for him. So what is it time for now? Time for sex. Yeah, the nester's secret weapon to confuse you.
Good food.
They're like, when
good looks.
When did you move in
good
here?
Sex.
Oh, don't worry about that. Let's just go to the bedroom quickly. Then all of a sudden my brain scrambled. Like, hey, yeah, someone's been sitting on my face. So this is the scene that irked the church, because she gets fully naked.
Oh, God forbid.
Yeah, God forbid. I thought they would know about Adam and Eve and all that.
Oh.
Actually, the Scientology is the church of Xenu.
Yeah.
And the magical
It's not Adam and Eve.
intergalactic warrior Xenu, who 75 million years ago put a bunch of human beings into volcanoes and blew them up. And now their spirits, Thetans, are what are inside us and cause us our problems. And only the auditing of Scientology can rid us of that. So I need to get to
Thanks for that.
I need to get to that church. Yeah. So after sex, what you need to do, you need to wash up. So they're in a bath. They're having a bath together. And not only is she a nester, but she's also just taken charge of everything. She's like, oh, while I was cleaning your house, I saw a bunch of sports pages that you've been collecting over the years. I just tossed them out. What do you think you're doing?
He doesn't seem to mind.
He doesn't mind.
In fact, he is convincing her to move in permanently.
Yeah, because she mentions, like, I can't stay here forever. Mm-hmm. I've got a friend in Venice, of all places. I'm not sure if she means Venice, Italy, or Venice, California.
Oh, California.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking... I was thinking more Venice at the time, because she's, like, international. She's a witch. So, okay, now Jeff's getting jealous. He's thinking about her moving to Venice, whether that be...
With a dude,
whether that
by
be
the way.
Italy or California, Venice.
California.
And but in 1988, Venice is a pretty sketchy place to live. It's not like it is nowadays, where it's like $7 million a home. You can move there for like 50 grand or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's getting jealous about this person who lives in Venice. Says, you must stay here with me. She then says to him, much like Aldous at the beginning says to them, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. He's like, I'll take that chance.
Yeah,
now
she's worried about Aldous finding them.
Now that she's, convinced him the food and the cleanliness and the sex and all that, he's taking her shopping. Lady's favourite, right? But there's these guys in the shopping mall, a group of like 3 men who seem to be stalking Jeff and Miranda. And as one of them gets quite close to them in a parking lot, the guy sees Aldous, the nice man from the beginning, kind of backs away. I'm like, why is this guy backing away after seeing Aldous, right? Aldous then catches up to this same guy at their door, and he sets him alight.
Yeah. I swear Alice says to him, like, oh, he can't help you or save you.
Yeah, this man...
And do you think
At first, I thought he was, I thought he was like one of Alice's minions who was trying to take him down, but no, he was looking for help.
Yeah. How, I don't know, but...
No.
Didn't find it.
But anyway, Alice set this guy on fire just with a... Pretty cool. Now it's back to work, and Jeff and his colleague, I believe Rick Rossovich from the Terminator, they've got their client Brock off of the charges. Fucking A! As Brock says, love Brock. He's like a weapons specialist. He's clearly been in the army. When I say weapons, I mean heavy duty army weapons. Brock was really cool.
He's a serious, what are they called? Like preparing for...
The end of days.
The end of, yeah.
Civil war, whatever.
There is a word for it, but I've forgotten.
Government interference.
And he promises them, he's like, hey guys, thanks so much for getting me off. If you ever need to hide out, come to me.
Yeah, fucking A.
Yeah.
What a dude he was. Now that Jeff has been mesmerised by Miranda, it's time for a party. Right, so they've thrown a party where Jeff can now introduce all of his friends to Miranda really quickly. And at this party, he's got all his work colleagues, and he's also invited his secretary, Grace, and he introduces her to Miranda, like, hi, blah, blah, blah. You can tell straight away that Grace isn't feeling Miranda too much.
No.
We got Dirty Derek.
He's the only one.
He's kissing and spanking ladies left, right, and centre.
And he's also jealous that he didn't take Miranda home in the end. He's
telling Jeff that he's very lucky that he was one who got to take her home. Miranda's now reading Jeff's little mate's palm and stuff like this. She tells him, "Oh, on the night of the solstice, you're going to lose something." We just think it's all like a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Do we?
Like
I believe it.
The guests do, should I say?
Well, except for the secretary.
Grace is looking at this, and she seems quite concerned. Miranda, meanwhile, goes into the kitchen. She takes a turkey out the oven with no oven gloves, with her bare hands. Little does she know, Grace has witnessed this. So Grace, then, she's like, oh, I heard you talking about the solstice. What religion are you? Yada, yada, yada. Starts grilling her about all this. And, Miranda's a bit like, Grace is a bit standoffish towards her. She's suspicious, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
And Grace is the only one as well who's suspicious.
Everyone else is mesmerised by Miranda.
Yeah, loves her. And we find out that Jeff, at work, he's like, so, Grace, what did you think of Miranda?
Yeah, just as the party ends, when everyone leaves, we get the first of what are a few just kind of silent phone calls which are made to Jeff. It's like kind of like weird ominous sounds. Like, say, the next morning at work, Jeff is with Grace and he wants to know what Grace thinks about Miranda.
He's like, no, come on, you need to tell me because you're a great judge of character.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, this was kind of a given. As soon as he finds out that Grace doesn't really approve, he's like, you're wrong.
That's the power of the pussy, right? Because Grace there, she's got his best intentions at heart, but she's not putting out, is she? Anyway,
what an idiot.
He says, she finally relents, because at first she's like, oh, she's fine, I like her. But then she goes, no, she's weird.
Yeah.
She took a turkey out the oven without any oven gloves and didn't burn her.
To be fair, if I was like, so what did you think of my friend? And you're like, well, she took the turkey out without gloves. I'd be like...
I mean, that's a bit weird.
But like...
I mean, I've heard of asbestos hands.
That's why you don't like someone, because they've got crazy strong hands.
No, not strong. It's the fact that it's not burning.
Okay, strong was the wrong word, but you
Completely
get what I mean.
Wrong. Yeah. I'd like to see you take stuff out the oven without any oven gloves.
Yeah, I know, but never mind.
After he's been talking to Grace, a character called Mrs. White shows up at like the front desk, and the secretary rings Jeff and says, oh, I've got a Mrs. White for you. Because Jeff is so snowed under with work, he's like, oh yeah, just send her in. As Miss White enters his office, he realises that he doesn't actually have an appointment with a Mrs. White. And she just says, we want her back. What do you mean we want her back?
There's something to do with the way your voice is right now and the way you just said that. It came out like 1 second's worth of Christopher Walk. Sorry. I just couldn't get over that.
Well, that's good stuff. Christopher Walken. And
Right.
I've got some recordings on my phone actually of me doing multiple Christopher Walken impressions. I only spent 20 minutes on it, but for 20 minutes, it's pretty great.
It's what happens when I leave the country for a few days and you're on your own. You just start like.
Hey, guess what I've been doing? Guess what I've been doing today?
Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Sorry. So Mrs. White.
I'll reserve those for another time.
Yeah, Mrs. White is in his office. He hasn't got an appointment with her. And he's like, "What? So what can I help you with?"
She says, "We want her back." And he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And she says, "Take this as a warning because there will not be another." Yeah. There won't be. So he then calls Miranda and she's like, he's about to speak to Miranda, but then Miranda's like, "Oh my God, they've found us." And he's like, "What do you mean they? And what do you mean they have found us?" We don't know yet. Now we're in an underground car park. Always amazing cinematically. It's always fantastic to film in an underground car park.
Yeah, it does actually.
It is. It's always
pillars. There's something about it.
It's a superb place to film. Always ominous. He gets in his car, Jeff, because after work, so this is his underground car park. As he gets in his sweet ride, that red convertible that he's got, all of a sudden, Aldous is there standing in the car park, and he goes. And he levitates the car and bursts, crushes all of the windows in with Jeff in it, drops the car on the floor. And as the car drops, it's just another vision.
Yeah.
But a good vision. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really nice. Just another vision.
Freaky.
He gets home now, Jeff, and there's lots of threatening messages on his voicemail now. Not just silent phone calls. He's got lots of threatening messages on his voicemail. And it turns out Miranda, after the phone call of, they're after us, she's now been missing for 3 days. So Jeff goes to the cops, and not just any cops, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just say, I'll get his name. It's Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, who plays Lieutenant Lee, who is the one and only "Your Soul Is Mine" Shang Tsung from the 1995 Paul W.S. Anderson Mortal Kombat. You make as many Mortal Kombat movies as you want. For me, there is only one Shang Tsung, and it's Mr. Zagawa. Once again, may he also rest in peace. He's unfortunately also recently passed away.
His role in this film was really random.
Would you say that there is only one Shang Tsung, and it's Mr. Kagawa? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Always love to see Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa show up. Shang Tsung himself. So yeah, Jeff is friends with Shang Tsung, who's now a copper in this. And Lieutenant Lee, Shang Tsung, he lets Jeff know that Miranda is wearing this weird necklace in these photographs that he has of her. And he also has photographs of his other crime scenes of burnt down houses or, torched cars where people have put this symbol at the crime scene. Remember that?
Yeah, he thinks it's some kind of cult or something.
He says, because of this symbol that your lover is wearing, she's into devil worship and into the occult.
But he doesn't say too much details. He's kind of like, go to this library and look it up yourself, make up your own mind. Before
he goes to the library, the bookstore, Shang Tsung also shows him in the morgue a guy with a burnt face. His face has been burnt off. That's always nice.
Is it? Yeah, lovely stuff.
As you mentioned, Jeff is now flipping through some books in a bookstore. It's an empty bookstore, and all of a sudden the ominous noises start coming. Makes him flee. After the sounds drive Jeff out of the bookstore, he's back in his office. Lieutenant Lee shows up again, and he's showing him some photos. Do you recognise this person?
Mrs. White.
And he does, he recognises Mrs. White, lets Lieutenant Lee know. All of a sudden there's a phone call. Who could it be? It's Miranda, who's been missing for 3 days.
I'm in danger. Come and save me.
Uses all that kind of thing. Damsel in distress. So in what must be a pretty rare downfall in Los Angeles, he gets in his car, drives to where she is, but he's not just going to pick her up, with no questions asked. This time, he wants answers. Why have you run away? What's going on here?
Well, it's about time. I guess the power of the pussy's worn off a little bit because he doesn't ask much at the beginning, whereas now he's like, okay, what the hell is going on? And can you blame him?
She finally gets into his car, and as they're driving, she starts telling a little bit of her life story. Says that her mother was a witch, and says that most witches are positive, but others misuse their powers, including her own mother, and said that once her dad died, her mum changed. She got a bunch of new friends who took all their belongings and their money, and they lived on like a commune, a bit like a cult, maybe a bit like
100%
bit
like a cult.
bit like Scientology.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe that's why they didn't like it. It was too close to home.
She said at 18 years old, she started to take part in the ceremonies and stuff like this. And every year, the elders meet on a certain beach on the solstice, right? And this year, it's her turn to run the ceremony to cut out a human heart.
Oh, I thought she was saying that this year, because she's like, they're going to perform a sacrifice, not animal, human. They're going to cut the heart out. I thought she was saying that they were going to cut her heart out. So you're saying that she was supposed to cut someone else's
She's
heart
the one
out.
supposed to cut the heart out.
Right.
That's why she's saying, I'm a good witch. I wouldn't do that kind of thing.
And
my mother.
She also says that...
The house.
No, if she can stay out of their clutches and avoid this solstice thing...
For 24 hours.
Then she will be safe, because then you're officially out of the group.
Yeah, which Jeff then says, as I just mentioned, well, we've only got 24 hours until that time is up.
Yeah.
As they're driving as well, she points out this house where she used to grew up in the cult.
Yeah, that's where the cult headquarters are, so to speak.
That's it, yeah.
And they do, like, the dumbest thing you could imagine. They've only got to go for, like, 24 hours. He's really rich, so it's not like they
He's
can
a
just
lawyer,
buy
isn't he?
stuff.
High-powered lawyer.
But they go back to his house to pack a bag. I was like, that is so stupid.
This is the best scene, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good scene,
And
actually. You're right.
I would say in a much darker movie, Heathen, this would have been even more effective, because when they get into the house, it's dark and it's starting to pack. All of a sudden, at all the windows, there are just tens of people at the windows, dressed all in the same outfits, just dead-eyed looking into the house. All of a sudden, the windows like start to warp somewhat, then they warp and bend.
Like
and,
they're being pushed in by the people
and
outside.
yeah, and there are a lot of windows in this house, a lot of big windows. So when you see these windows full of people, it was incredibly effective.
Yeah. And
Very cool.
things are being moved around, and Miranda's like, oh, I'm going to create a circle of salt, that old thing, and we have to just stay in it. And it seems that they just fall asleep.
Yeah, before the salt though, she casts a spell which gets rid of the people at the windows.
You're right, yeah.
But the spell will only last for a short while, because they have too much power for this minuscule spell to work for much longer. So that's when they say, yeah, if we just make this circle of salt and believe in the circle of salt, we'll be fine.
What always confuses me with these salt circle things in movies is why they always make them so small. I'm like, you haven't got any space to stretch out. You have to sleep all hunched up. Couldn't you just make a bigger circle?
So you're thinking about comfort.
Absolutely, because
Right.
they spend the whole night there.
Like say
When they wake up, yeah.
and there's like books piled from floor to ceiling.
Just everything
there are
is
objects floating in the air.
mishmashed.
It's witchy poo.
Witchy poo.
Yeah, it's witchy poo stuff. So because of this, they're like, right, we need to escape. We get a better idea now. Let's go to Derek's. So they go to Derek's, and Jeff has explained to Derek what's going on. But Derek's like, we've got a big case. You can't just throw away your career for a broad. She overhears that. He's like, look, I don't really mean any offence, but blah, blah, blah. So Derek's got an idea. Let's go to Brock. Fucking A. The guy. So they go to Brock's, the weapons nut.
Compound.
And they decide, because Brock's got all his weaponry and stuff, we'll leave Miranda here and she'll be safe, because obviously Brock's got like tanks and miniguns and stuff like this. So once they take her there, they're back in the office. Sorry, Jeff's back in his office. Mrs. White shows again. Bit of a conversation. Turns out, ha ha, she is Miranda's evil witch mother. Yeah. And she's like throwing little digs at Jeff, saying, oh, last night we dug up your mother. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. We dug up your mother. And he gets a bit mad at this. So Miss White, the conniving bitch that she is, she's like, I'm like, what's she doing? Oh, she's making it look like Jeff's attacked her. So she starts scratching her own face, trashing his office, throwing herself on the table and stuff like this. And she runs out into the corridors of the office building, acting like she's been attacked, while Jeff chases her. And obviously everyone thinks, what's gone on with Jeff?
Yeah, he's not doing himself any
favours,
is
he?
Because he's angry and he's like, what? Stop what you're doing. And it's like, well, you're just making it really seem like...
Mrs. White acting demented was really good.
Yeah.
Because it kind of came out of nowhere. Because one minute she's Mrs. White, and then all of a sudden she just goes absolutely bonkers. Yeah. So Now Jeff goes back to Brock's house. But it's been decimated. Miranda's not there. And poor Brock.
Yeah.
He's dead on the floor. Brock is no more.
So all of his weaponry couldn't stop the
no,
witches.
can't stop witches with weapons. Miranda's gone, like I said. So Jeff remembers the house that Miranda pointed out. He decides to go there. When he walks in, there's like ominous stuff like posters of Baphomet, things like this. He opens one of the doors and there's a not Shang Tsung, a kung fu girl. She's practicing her kung fu with her
She
earphones
reminded me
in.
of Judy Greer. I thought it was her for a second. I was like, oh no.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't like her. But no,
No,
it
you
wasn't
don't.
her, thank God.
You're no fan of Judy Greer, are you? Because Judy Greer in everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Whether she's a prostitute, whether she's a good girl, whatever she's playing, she's just the same.
She's the same.
Absolutely. This is why I want nothing to do with Hollywood. Like I say, whatever Hollywood and, a British Film Institute idea of good acting is not my idea of good acting. Absolutely not.
But anyway, we've seen this non-Judy Greer kung fu girl. He closes that door again, goes on.
Eventually finds an old couple. Mm-hmm. And he smashes this door open because he finds like a ritualistic floor with a pentagram, just a giant pentagram on the floor. Yeah, all of this occultist type stuff around. And finally,
tell me where Miranda is.
Yeah, to the older couple, he's wanting to know where they are. Kind of like the husband is kind of like almost willing to tell him so there's no trouble, but it's the wife, always the wife getting the husband in trouble, saying you better not mention anything. But of course they give it up eventually because he smashes in the door and he tells her that she is at the beach. So he goes to go and drive there. As he gets outside though, his car's been torched. I reckon Aldous has been there again. He's always torched a person, hasn't he? Now he's torched a car. So Derek, good old Derek, trustworthy Derek, he picks him up and takes him to the beach. And the beach is really nice because when we get there, there's another scene which is quite reminiscent of part of Heathen, because we have the part of Heathen where Josh, our main character, is walking through this otherworld cave-like place. And when Jeff is walking through the beach underneath the caves, there's always like satanic scribbling graffiti everywhere. Some of it's really obvious stuff, just like the word Satan or 666, but it was still really good the way that it was shot at the beach and stuff. And when he finally comes out of the tunnel, he's been dropped off by Derek, so obviously Derek's like, I'll leave you to it, I'm going to drive off and just do something else for a minute.
Find the cops.
Yes, probably. When Jeff then finally comes out of this tunnel, he then looks down onto the beach and you've got the bonfire, the roaring sea, and there's a ceremony going on.
People in those, it's.
And what have we been privy to earlier on? Miranda has said that during a ceremony, the person that is sacrificed must come there by their own free will.
Okay, when she said that line earlier in the film,
it was obvious, wasn't
that
it?
was what gave the whole game
of course.
away.
Because who's come there by their own free will? Jeffrey. Silly Jeffrey. So he goes down to the beach ceremony
to save her.
Yeah, if you haven't got it already, it's a complete Wicker Man rip-off. Because, of course, he has to go there too by his own free will. He gets down there. Miranda is tied down at first, but she gets up pretty quickly. Jeff's ambushed. Miranda starts dancing around the fire. As they ambush Jeff, they tie him up. All of a sudden, who is this in satanic garb? Derek comes out.
That was also obvious.
And it was obvious, but it didn't take away from the entertainment of this film.
No, that's what I would say, even with the Wicker Man type thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to guess, because I don't remember exactly the moment, but let's say from halfway through the film, you kind of know what's coming. You know Derek is a fake, and you know everything. So you would think that should ruin the film, but it really doesn't. It was still just totally enjoyable.
I think the thing is, I've seen a rip-off of pretty much every horror movie out there, but I haven't yet seen a rip-off of The Wicker Man, and if you do it well enough, then it's not going to be that bad.
I mean, this film, if you like The Wicker Man, watch this film 100 times out of 100 over the remake, because the remake of The Wicker Man is the worst thing I've probably ever seen.
Still highly entertaining once you get over how shockingly bad it is. Yeah, as I mentioned, Derek is there in satanic garb. He's got the robe on, he's got a mask on his head, pulls the mask down, and he's the one that then cuts out Jeff's heart. That's pretty much the end of the film.
What friend is that?
Later on, days later, at a funeral, turns out it's Grace's funeral. Jeff's secretary. So you got to imagine that the cult have got her because she wasn't too pleased with Miranda. And at this funeral, Derek is there, naughty Derek, and Lieutenant Lee shows up, Shang Tsung. He starts to question Derek about the last time that he saw Jeff. And Derek's like, hey, he took off with his girlfriend Miranda or whatever. He's just gone away for a romantic weekend. I'm sure he'll be back soon. All that kind of stuff. Lieutenant Lee just kind of has to take him at his word. And Derek, being in his cult, is like, is quite dismissive and confident. He's like, anyway, I've told you all I know. I've got to get back to the office. And I'll see you later, Shang Tsung. How's Goro? Kind of things. And Lieutenant Lee just shakes his hand, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he's like, kind of like, see you later. So once we're there, we are now taken back to the beginning almost. Because it comes full circle, doesn't it? And we're back at the office building.
Again. It's exactly like in the Wicker Man remake.
Yeah,
when you see
it is
the two
like
girls
the remake.
Get sent off to
Lily
pick up
Sobieski,
to pick up the dudes.
James Franco.
Yeah.
So in this version, we're outside the office building at night time. Derek is with, I believe, a new recruit at the office, and as he's walking out, just like being charming to him, being friendly. In the distance, what do they see? Aldous beating Miranda, and of course, Derek's new mate is like, "Hey, we got to stop this." Runs over there to stop it. Once again, Aldous says, "You'll live to regret this because you don't know what you're getting yourself into." So the whole thing is a charade, a setup every single time they do it. Seems like quite often.
The first time we saw this, when it happens with our main story in the beginning of the movie, they've obviously made it way more like Miranda's taking ages to actually leave Aldous and all of this stuff to try and convince the audience, I guess, that it's all happening the way they want you to believe it. Whereas now that, the audience is in on the trick, it's like within 2 seconds, Miranda's like, "Oh, hey, new guy."
Yeah. Well, the new guy is no Jeff looks-wise, so of course he's gonna, if Kelly Preston comes onto him like that, his brain's gonna be scrambled right away.
Yeah, but my point is she didn't do that the first time. She didn't do it with Jeff.
No, I think
because they were trying to convince the audience that it's not.
But at the end, it's like, we know, the movie knows so they want to do it in that different way.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
And what again is fantastic at the end is when Derek's walking out of the office building, and I mentioned it for Necropolis and stuff, but particularly at night when we have just the scene of the city through the camera, the older cameras, it's it's nice and murky. It looks dreamlike, nightmarish. So much better than have it crystal clear. Art shouldn't be all the same. You need certain things for certain genres. This worked really well. So it wasn't a successful movie. I read this movie cost $6 million, so it had quite a budget behind it. It only made about 10% of that back, but really doesn't matter because the box office takings really don't tell what the quality of a movie is, obviously. And I was really pleasantly surprised by this because I thought it was just going to be another Necropolis, even though I love Necropolis, just another silly type movie. But this one was more serious in tone, and everyone's performance suited the more serious approach of it. Everyone was really good in this. I really like Jeff's performance, especially, and nice to see Rick Rossovich. He seems like he's finished acting. He hasn't been in anything for like 10 years. I heard he's a bit of a real family man in real life. Maybe he's just like retired to take care of his family and stuff. But I'm gonna bust you up, man. It'll always be famous to me in The Terminator. So good cast, good story. One of our favourite movies, because we're a we now, is The Craft. We like witchy poo stuff. Witches actually scare me. There's only, I'm not really that scared by, slasher guys and stuff like that, but witches legitimately scare me.
Witches don't do it for me. It's zombies for me.
Hardcore witches scare me. Yeah. So this is definitely a recommended film.
Well, really, all three of them ones this week.
And
just depending on what your tastes are.
And it was never boring. Because it kind of just starts like that, doesn't it? And it kind of like keeps you wondering for a little bit, especially with Miss White and things like this. And until you hear the whole own free will thing, which really gives it away. If you are a horror connoisseur, as I am, as you're beginning to become, then you see where it's going. But yeah, I haven't seen too many films like this, and it's not a hardcore horror or anything like that. There's not much gore and things like that, but it's just a nice, interesting film. Yeah, good stuff. So in the past 2 weeks, we've brought you those pesky Nazis, those oversexed Italians, Penthouse pets of the year, whilst I say, yeah, moves that irked Scientology, and six-breasted witches. So I don't know what I'm going to have to pick for next week to keep up this stellar reputation that we have. Yeah, I'll go looking.